Hello everyone, I am Gretchen Brewer. Most of y'all already know me, but just in case you don't, that's me. A lot of y'all know that I did struggle with drug addiction. I was addicted to heroin and meth for a little over 8 years. My dad has always struggled with drugs. My older brother, Cody, he passed away 3 years ago from a drug overdose. Me and him struggled with drugs together. So 3 out of my 5 family members have struggled, and 2 out of the 3 are gone. When I started dabbling in drugs when I was around 12, it started with painkillers, and usually that's how most heroin addiction starts. It starts small and then it slowly progresses. So by the time I was about, I believe 21 is when I started using heroin, and so that happened for a while, and when it really got really bad was when I started doing IV, intravenous. Once I started doing that, within a month, I had lost custody of my daughter Ava that also goes to church here. I had lost my house, my mom took my car, and I got fired from my job in 1 month after starting to do it. And so then I was homeless for a couple of months, in and out of my mom's house, but I would stay in parks. That was the main place. I would just sleep in parks, sleep in the bathrooms when they were heated because it was the winter outside. And I was in addiction for a very long time, in and out of jail, and eventually I got to jail one time, and it was just, I was so drained from the lifestyle. I was just so mentally, physically, and spiritually drained from everything. I was sick for about 2 weeks, and then I started fighting everybody, and then so that's how I ended up in lockdown. So in lockdown, I had tried to commit suicide while I was in lockdown. So while I was on suicide watch, it was just the absolute lowest of the low that my life had ever come before. I was just laying there. I had nothing. I had no one. When the drugs and the money is gone and there's no one there for you anymore, it's like you don't have anybody to call. Nobody's in that jail cell with you. You just feel so alone. And I remember I just laid there and I just started crying. I just remember it so vividly as it was yesterday, that the Lord walks in and he sat right beside of me. Like I could picture it, I could just feel his spirit in there with me. And he sat beside of me, and he said pretty stern to me. He said, "You know, Gretchen, you know better than this. My calling for you is greater than what you're doing right now." And I remember telling him in my spirit, I said, "Lord, if you just get me out of here, and if you just help me to beat this and help me to do better, then I will stick with you. I will tell people about you, and I will try to help others if you just, get me out of here." And once I got out of lockdown, I started really digging into the Word. I started really studying and focusing. God was answering questions for me, making peace about things from my childhood. We were talking on a regular basis, like a real relationship that was growing. And I finally did get bonded out when I was ready. I know the Lord knew when I was ready to be bonded out. And I went to the House of Pearls. That's a Christian rehab facility in Monroe. It's a great place. It's a year program. And I went there for the year, and it was just some of the best times of my life were at that rehab facility. Amazing time, amazing women. I wouldn't even want to think of the things that would have happened to me if I would have stayed in addiction. Because I thank God every day that, even though I did experience horrible things, I couldn't imagine what it would be like still be out there just because I love the life I live so much now. Me and my husband Derek, we met while I was still homeless. He was struggling in his addiction as well at the same time. And eventually, when I went and got help, I had heard that he went to Ground 40 in Monroe and he went and got help as well. And then after a year of being at the House of Pearls, I had my graduation ceremony and he saw on Facebook that I was graduating, and he asked my mom if he could come, and he did come. And I didn't even recognize him because he just looked very different. And we just reconnected, and it was like I could feel it in my spirit that the Lord had called us together. So he came the next day and picked me up from the House of Pearls, and we've been together ever since. Addiction, it does not discriminate. It don't care about what job you have. I was in rehab with lawyers, nurses, kids that were preachers, children. It doesn't care, and it really can. And I know that there's bound to be people in this church with children that may be struggling, with relatives that may be struggling. Stanley County's had it rough when it comes to heroin and meth addiction. I do have a passion for people that are struggling with addiction, even coming out of addiction that need guidance, parents of addicts, and even siblings, anybody that's in the family of addicts that are struggling, because they struggle, and it's heartbreaking to experience that as well. You know, if we can go out there, share God's love, because that's one of the main things. Without love, we are nothing. And so we need to get out there, show love, and show what the face of God can actually look like.